Swadika, thank you for joining me, Sandra Hanut Sahat, for this edition of Newsline on Thursday, October 2nd of 2014. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward, broadcasting live on NBT. In today's top story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has submitted the list of 250 candidates for the National Reform Council, or NRC, to His Majesty the King for royal endorsement. And now on to today's headlines. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed concern over the risk of droughts occurring in the upcoming dry season after finding that the amount of water remaining in reservoirs is lower than usual. General Prayut made known his concern during Wednesday's cabinet meeting, later telling the Ministry of Interior and the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation to closely follow the situation. Executives of the Metropolitan Water Works Authority, or MWA, were in Ayutthaya on Wednesday to survey the network of canals slated to be used during the upcoming dry season to divert water from the west side of the country to the eastern side. The network runs from Tha Muang district in Kanchanaburi to the Phra Banle Canal in Ayutthaya province. According to MWA Governor Thanasak Watanathana, the MWA needed to secure additional water sources for the production of tap water during the next dry season, as well as to prevent saltwater incursions. He explained that when needed, the irrigation department will help channel water from Kanchanaburi to the Phra Banle Canal in Ayutthaya and then into the Chao Phraya River. As an additional source, fresh water from Pasak Cholasit Dam in Lopburi will be made available to the MWA for tap water production. Because of the additional sources of raw water, Mr. Thanasak expressed confidence that his agency will be able to supply Greater Bangkok with tap water throughout the upcoming dry season. However, he noted that the public should still help conserve water. The Cabinet has given the green light for the appointment of 6 high-profile government officials to the Labor Ministry. According to Labor Minister General Surasak Kanchanarat, the Cabinet has agreed to allow the following 6 individuals to take their new roles at the Labor Ministry. Mom Luang Buntrik Samiti will be appointed as the Director General of the Department of Skill Development. Meanwhile, Mr. Pirapat Ponsari Lerkit will take the role as the Director General of the Department of Labor Protection and Welfare. Ms. Pranin Mutaharat has also been assigned to the position of Secretary General of the Social Security Office. The remaining 3 officials, who are Ms. Panni Si Yuttasak, Mr. Arak Promani, and Mr. Winay Luwirod, will become Deputy Permanent Secretaries to the Labor Ministry. Their new titles will be effective only after receiving His Majesty the King's royal endorsement. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister General Thanasak Patimaprakon has stated that although Thailand is now going through a period of transition, it remains fully committed to democracy and human rights and cannot go against the tide of democracy. And Kun Niranut Traijakwanit has more for us.
In the Thailand statement presented at the general debate of the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, General Thanasak pointed out that the same as many other countries, Thailand has learned the lesson that democracy is more than having elections. Democracy must be based on the respect of the rule of law, and it must be about good governance, transparency, accountability, and equal access of justice. This was not the case of my country before May 22nd, said General Thanasak. He went on, before May 22nd, we were at a political impasse we had a dysfunctional democracy, we were in danger for more turmoil, and there was a very real possibility of bloodshed. The opposing political parties were given the chance to save democracy, but they failed because they were unwilling to compromise for the sake of the country. This change of unfortunate events made the military intervention necessary. We all wish that things did not have to turn out that way. But if the situation was allowed to continue, Thailand's democracy would have been torn apart. This would have undermined Thailand's stability and the stability of the region. General Thanasak said that Thailand needs a real and functioning democracy and one that delivers on the aspiration of the people. Let there be no doubt that Thailand is not retreating from democracy, but we do need time and space to bring about reconciliation, to undertake political reform, and to strengthen our democratic institutions. We do not wish for a repeat of what happened on May 22nd. In addition to implementing our roadmap to return to full democracy, we are also getting our economy moving again. Confidence has returned and growth has been restored. Thailand is committed to playing an active role together with our ASEAN partners to build an ASEAN community of peace and prosperity. We are committed to working with our partners in the international community to address the many global challenges we face, such as climate change, transnational crime, pandemics, and human trafficking. And most of all, we are committed to working with our partners to realize the development agenda, because real and lasting peace is not based on state-centered security, but on people-centered security. Niranut Traijakwanith reporting.
Thank you to Kun Niranut for that report. And General Thanasak Patimaprakon has handed the title of Supreme Commander of the Royal Thai Armed Forces to General Warapong Sanganet. The handover ceremony was conducted between General Thanasak Patimaprakon and General Warapong Sanganet, with top military brasses attending the event as well. The ceremony included a military parade from all three military branches, with 5 divisions present in honor of General Thanasak's services to the armed forces. Transport Minister Air Chief Marshal Parajin Jantong, in his capacity as the Royal Thai Air Force Commander-in-Chief, has joined the ceremony to hand over the role of commander to his successor, Air Chief Marshal Thot Sonjang. The ceremony was attended by high-ranking officials, civil servants of the Royal Thai Air Force, as well as military attachés. Air Chief Marshal Parajin said in the ceremony that it was the responsibility of all members of the Royal Thai Air Force to continue working towards the development of the Air Force, especially in personnel development, to strengthen the Royal Thai Air Force as a leader in the region. The outgoing Air Force chief called on all staff to take pride in their work in unity with one another, and to adhere to moral ethics to foster a strong foundation for the organization. Meanwhile, incoming Air Force Chief Air Chief Marshal Thot Sonjang said after the ceremony that he vowed to further the work of his predecessor in order to let the Royal Thai Air Force become a regional leader. He added that the Air Force was ready to support the new government in national security affairs and international relations with neighboring countries. The Transport Ministry has urged taxi operators to comply with the standard of services set by the ministry while it considers a taxi fare increase. Taxi operators are asked to maintain their car in good condition within 30 days, starting from October 5th. The move will include upgrading services offered by drivers and improving the cleanliness of the vehicle. Once taxis in Thailand can meet the standards outlined by the ministry, a review of a fare hike will then be conducted. Air Chief Marshal Parajin Jantong said earlier that although the ministry has yet to reach a decision on whether it will approve the taxi fare increase. A fare hike is very likely given the current level of living expenses. Earlier, taxi operators had submitted a petition requesting a fare increase after LPG and NGV fuel prices in the transport sector are slated to go up next month. They said the starting rate of taxi fares have been capped at 35 baht for the first 3 kilometers for a decade, even though LPG prices were adjusted upwards several times. The call includes 20% increase in taxi fare in accordance with distance, extension of service years for taxis from 9 to 12 years, and a tax exemption of cars that are to be registered as taxis. The president of the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, conceded that any impeachment motion deliberated under the Provisional Constitution may not be legally possible. NLA President Pornphet Witticholachai said that he has not yet received the impeachment motions against former Senate President Nikhom Wairatpanit and former House Speaker Somsaket Soronon, which the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC, said has returned for the Assembly's deliberation. Mr. Pornphet said that once the motions are back to the NLA, they will go into the process as they are supposed to. When asked about the question about whether or not the NLA will be legally empowered to conduct the impeachment process under the 2007 Constitution that the NACC has based on its decision, Mr. Pornphet said that such a doubt will be clarified once the return of the impeachment motions are confirmed. The NLA president went on to say that he remains unsure if the Assembly can refer to Article 5 of the interim charter to proceed with the impeachment deliberation as suggested by his second president, Mr. Pirasak Paudit. He added that he may bring up Mr. Pirasak's suggestion to discuss with all NLA members before any action is taken. The Commerce Minister reported that Thailand's inflation rose at a slower pace in September while expressing confidence that consumer price index will not exceed its target this year. Deputy Permanent Secretary to the Commerce Ministry, Ampawan Pichalai, said that Thailand's consumer price index was at 107.43 in September, up 1.75% from the same time last year. September was the 4th consecutive month of declines in inflationary pressure. Mrs. Ampawan said that the latest easing of inflation was caused by a decline in domestic fuel prices, which is in line with falling global energy prices and lower meat product and egg prices due to higher supply and the annual vegetarian festival. For the first 8 months of 2014, the country's headline inflation rose 2.15% on year. This year's inflation will rise around 2.14%, which is slightly lower than the previous estimate of 2.21%, and still within the ministry's target range of 2.0% to 2.8%. The Commerce Ministry's Deputy Permanent Secretary added that the government's decision to raise LPG and NGV prices will only have a minimum impact on inflation, but may temporarily cause some psychological effects to consumers. The Stock Exchange of Thailand, or SET Index, closed on the first day of the month on a positive note at 1,587.35. Thailand's SIT Index went up by 1.68 points, or 0.11%, on turnover of 50.688 billion baht. The day's top trading stocks were True Corporation, PTT, Tourism Thai Agencies, IRPC, and Unique Engineering and Construction. KTB Securities analysts said that today the market would likely continue to fluctuate with the Hong Kong protest and today's meeting of the European Central Bank on the economic stimulus package being two driving foreign factors. They also said the market would move in the positive territory if the Thai government reveals more details on its economic boosting plan. The analyst predicted today that the market's resistance level should be in the range of 1,595 to 1,600 points, and the support level at 1,587.5 points. And in today's segment of Now or Never, Dr. Yonggut Mayalap, the government spokesperson, will talk about the multi-cooperation between the Lao PDR Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore.
Welcome to Now or Never, the program that updates you on the achievements of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, and the work progress of the government. The time is now for all Thais to unite, to move the country forward, and to push for reform in all dimensions to strengthen Thailand in a sustainable way. The Cabinet has recently approved the draft joint statement of the Lao PDR, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore Power Integration Project, or LTMS-PIP, and allowed the Minister of Energy to jointly acknowledge the draft statement with other ASEAN energy ministers. The 32nd ASEAN Ministers on Energy meeting, or AMEM, held between the 22nd and the 24th of September 2014 in Vientiane, had the theme of Power Integration for ASEAN Prosperity. During the meeting, members considered the issue of the electricity trade across borders between the Lao PDR, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore, with the aim to promote economic and energy security in the region. The draft joint statement was also acknowledged on this occasion. The draft statement alluded to the joint effort in organizing a pilot project for the study of the trade of electricity across borders and laid out a broad scope for project implementation without pre-imposing any commitments. There will be no legally binding aspects, and therefore Thailand will not have any specific obligations in the areas of economic security or trade and investment. The Office of the Committee for the Council of State has considered the matter and has made the observation that it is a document that considers an endorsement without the party's signature, with the key substances being an expression of intent for implementing a project, without any wording that may imply legally binding obligations as consistent with international laws. Launched during Lao PDR's chairmanship of ASEAN Energy Cooperation meetings, this pilot project will serve as an approach to complement existing efforts towards realizing the ASEAN Power Grid, or APG, and the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, by creating opportunities for electricity trading beyond neighboring borders. As the first step, the four countries will set up the LTMS-PIP working group to study the technical viability of cross-border power trade of up to 100 megawatts from Lao PDR to Singapore through existing interconnections. The working group is also expected to examine policy, regulatory, legal, and commercial issues relating to cross-border electricity trading. The completion of the pilot project is envisaged to facilitate cross-border electricity trade among all four countries. สวัสดีครับ
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thailand to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 81st anniversary of Public Relations Department. Creative media for society and mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
Welcome back to Newsline. And Thailand yesterday claimed another gold and 2 more bronzes from BMX racing and taekwondo events. The Kingdom's 9th gold came from Amanda Carr, a half-Thai American biker. The world's number 9th did not disappoint her fans as she sprinted her way through all 3 laps with ease from start to finish. Meanwhile, in taekwondo, Panipak or tennis, Wong Patanakit snatched a bronze from the women's under 46 kilogram event after being narrowly defeated by Taiwan's Lin Wang Ting. The same tale was being told in the women's under 57 kilogram event, where South Korea's Lee Arim took victory over Rangsiya or June Nisai-som in the semifinal, leaving Thailand with another bronze to add into its collection. The Thai male taekwondo team will meet Malaysia today in the semifinal after defeating Singapore 2-0 sets. Likewise, the female team will meet Indonesia today after it took down Malaysia 2-0 sets yesterday. Thailand now has 9 golds, 6 silvers, and 23 bronzes. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and you can check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. And for today, we have for you beautiful scenery of Puchiphai National Park in Chiang Rai Province. Have a good day. I'm Sandra Han Utsaha. สวัสดีค่ะ